hole with the Mariner High School robotics team, we're going to teach you how to put two pieces of FTC channels together. So, these are the pieces that you're going to build your robot out of. They're called channels, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. This is an L bracket, and we'll show you how to use those when attaching two pieces together later on. And this is a straight bracket. It also attaches pieces together, and we'll also show you that later on. These are your screws, and these are your nuts. They have one spiny side and one side that's like a regular nut. And if you notice on your screws, you have a hole right there, and that's for your Allen wrench, which is the tool that you will use for putting your things together. Okay, so the first way that you can attach two pieces of channel is by having them flush against each other. And to do that, obviously, you're going to put your screw in a hole and line it up with another hole. And then you're going to take your nut, spiny side facing the metal, and you're going to kind of twirl it on. And then come to the other side and take your Allen wrench. Like this, you can put it through the hole on top of it to reach all the way down to where the screw is and tighten it. Also, if you have kind of a difficult nut like we do here, you can take a pair of pliers to hold one side while you tighten the other side to get that on. But it usually works if you just hold one side with your finger and you tighten with the other side, so you get a nice thick bond. Okay. Next method is with the straight bracket, and you just line up your holes like so on each side, and then you have two evenly spaced apart pieces, and you can use this for either stability or just having a space between two channels for whichever reason you might want that. And the easiest way to go about this is to do one side first. You line up your screws, put on your bolt, your nut rather, and tighten it with your Allen wrench. Okay, now for this part you don't want to do it so tightly yet, so you can still maneuver it around and you can get the other hole in there when it's time, like right now. And then you put your other one in there. Now you don't need to fill all three holes because just two is enough to make it so that it won't jiggle around. Really, the only way to get good at putting two pieces together and using your Allen wrenches and your screws is practice. So if your team has a lot of difficulty and you stumble a lot or whatever your problem might be, just give your build team a couple of pieces of channels, some screws, some nuts, and have them just attach them everywhere and get practice with that. More screws. It's always a good idea to have your stores at handy, but this isn't where we normally work, and that's why we're not very prepared. Another thing that I didn't mention before is it's always best to use the smallest screw you possibly can for the job, because it's all right if you run out of small screws, because you can always use a bigger one normally. But if you run out of big screws and you have a
big gap.
Yeah, a big gap that you need to cover, like if you're screwing in what are those things called? The axles with the screw holes in the top?
Collar lock.
No, not that. They're like just rods and they have screw holes in the top, like where you make like a little platform. You can make a platform with it. Anyway, here's your completed zoom out, your completed thingy is, if you need more stability, like if you were going to do a structure that's like this, then you would add maybe another straight bracket right here, and then it would be even more stable, like, because you can see you move it around like this a little bit. But other than that, that's good. Next. Now, say you need to have two pieces sort of like this. Well, that's where your L bracket would come in. You would attach it like so, or you could even go on the inside like this. But for the purposes of this video, so you can see it better, I'll do it on the outside. Now, just like with the straight bracket, your best bet is to do it with one side first, and then do the other one. So, put your screw on. It's also a good idea to have everyone on your team practice putting in screws in case, like, during competition or whatever, you have to do a quick repair and your regular build team's not available. Oh, that's not the right type of audio in some sections. Okay. And then you line it up on your other side. One screw in. This is where it helps to have a friend, because you can have them hold it while somebody else puts in the. There we go. See, this is definitely one of the more complex putting together of the screws. You have to have kind of a small hand to get in there. But there's also always you could use either a pair of pliers or the forceps if you have to, if you can't get your actual hand in there. Just like with the straight bracket, you don't want to make it too tight at first in case you need to adjust. Come on, get in there.
There we go.
See, this is one of the longer screws we're tapping into now. Like I said, always use the shortest screw possible if you have one. Now you have a nice corner brace, and this is sort of kind of the shape that your chassis is going to be, except for stability purposes. When you build your actual chassis, and Paul will talk about this again later, you're going to want to have it down this way so it'll withstand more pressure than if it was this way, because this way it could bend in easily because you see the shape. Okay, click.